Alright guys, I'm giving you the top 5 best class setups in Modern Warfare 2 right now, and trust me, you're going to absolutely love them. They're going to be in all different categories, so ARs, SMGs, etc., so it should cater to everybody. First thing I actually do want to cover is the Cinder Hurricane, and then we're going to follow up with the M4, but this is a very special weapon in my opinion. We're going to start out with this, and we are going to go to Gunsmith and start with the barrel. We're going to use the FSS Cannonade 16-inch barrel. Now this increases damage range, hipfire accuracy, and bullet velocity, something you absolutely need for SMGs. You get a reduction of aim down sight speed and hip recoil control, but you have to realize with SMGs you already have pretty good aim down sight speed. You don't really want to throw this on there because you do get a reduction of damage range and movement speed as well. You do get sound suppression, recoil control, bullet velocity, and hipfire accuracy, but I believe that the damage range and bullet velocity with the FSS Cannonade is overall way better than the reduction of damage range and movement speed. Throwing the lock shot KT85 for the horizontal and vertical recoil control, you get a reduction of aiming stability and aim down sight speed, but that's overall worth it. Now, some people are going to use the SA99 for the sound suppression, recoil smoothness, bullet velocity, and recoil control with a reduction of aiming stability, aim down sight speed, and aim walking speed. Completely up to you if you want to use that. I just think that the pros of the horizontal and vertical recoil control outweigh the pros of the bullet velocity and recoil control for the silencer. Completely up to you whichever one you want to use, but I think both of them are great options. Next, we're going to move on to the Lock Grip Precision 40 for the phenomenal vertical recoil control for operators who take their time and pick their targets. Pros are hipfire accuracy, gun kick control, which is new in Call of Duty. I mean, this is something that's pretty cool, but basically it's just the vertical, and aim walking steadiness. Trust me, this is a fantastic option, especially considering the only con you get is aim down sight speed. Next, we're going to move on to the Sakin ZX Grip. This increases recoil control with a reduction of aiming stability. Some people choose Phantom Grip, completely up to you. If you want the sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed increase, you are going to get a reduction of recoil control though, and flinch resistance. Completely up to you. Weigh your options between the Sakin and the Phantom. They're both great to choose because everyone is interchangeable. You can throw either on there. Next, I use the Demo Quicksilver Stock for the sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and aim down sight speed. If you don't want to use this, then you can most likely use the Demo Fade, or you could use the Demo Quicksilver Collapsed, which gives you movement speed, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and hip recoil control with a reduction of aiming stability and aiming recoil control. Completely up to you whichever one you want to use. Completely interchangeable. If you want to be a little more fast paced, then this one's up your alley. If you want to have a little bit more recoil control, then this one's up your alley. I know it sounds insane, but if you look at it, you have less recoil control with this than you do with this. So whichever one you want to use, you want to fly around the map, use that. If you want to have a little more control while you're flying around the map, use that. So next, we are going to go over the perk package. Now, I'm going to let you guys know right now, you don't have to use double time. You can use Battle Hardened with Scavenger, Quick Fix, and Ghost. I think that this is the best package overall, but make sure you're not using Tactical Camera. You want to make sure you're using Dead Silence, just because Dead Silence is overall the best option to use in this game. Everything else kind of screws you over, because with Dead Silence, the best thing is they can't hear you, and this game is heavily reliant on sound, so this is what you want to use. Next, we're going to move on to the M4. This thing is incredible, and we're going to start out with the Tempest High Tower 40-inch barrel. For the bullet velocity, damage range, hipfire accuracy, and recoil control increase, where you get a reduction of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. Now, I don't really see any other alternatives. If you don't have this leveled up yet, you can use the 14-inch carbine shroud barrel for recoil control and bullet velocity just until you get the Tempest High Tower 20-inch barrel, but this is overall the best choice. Move on to the Forge Tac Castle Comp for the horizontal and vertical recoil control with a reduction of aiming stability and aim down sight speed. If you don't have this, you can use, well, let's see, which one would you rather use? I think you'd be better off using the Brune Spearhead Suppressor because you get sound suppression, recoil smoothness, and recoil control, versus this, you actually don't get the recoil control, but you do get the reduction of damage range. So your gun's going to be bouncing all over the place if you use this, but with this, you're actually going to have good control, but the con is going to be the damage range. Completely up to you. You can use no muzzle, but I don't really suggest that. Move on to the Lock Grip Precision 40. For the hip fire accuracy, gun kick control, and aim walking steadiness, you get a reduction of aim down sight speed. If you don't have that, I don't really think that the Forge Tac Ripper is really worth it. Like, if you don't have it, just throw on an optic or something. Throw on the Demo on the demo Precision Elite Factory for the recoil control and aiming stability, you get a reduction of aim down sight speed, crouch movement speed, aim down sight speed, and sprint speed. But we're gonna take care of that. Don't even worry about it. I really don't recommend using no stock just because the gun's gonna kick way more than you would really hope it would. Trust me, it's not worth it. Phantom grip for the sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, you get a reduction of recoil control and flinch resistance, and this is overall best build for the M4. Trust me, you want to throw this on there and go crazy with it. We're gonna move on though to something I absolutely love and hold dear, and that is the Lachmann Sub, otherwise known as the MP5. Now, we use the FTAC M Sub 12-inch for the bullet velocity, damage range, hipfire accuracy, and recoil control. You get a reduction of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed, but that's not a big deal. I don't really see a better alternative. I think everything else kind of doesn't help, especially considering you want this to be strong and have good bullet velocity. This is the best choice. Move on to the Lockshot KT85 for the horizontal and vertical recoil control. You get a decrease of aiming stability and aim down sight speed, but that's not a big deal. Move on to the Lock Grip Precision 40 for hip fire accuracy, gun kick control, and aim walking steadiness. You get a reduction of aim down sight speed. Throw on the no stock for movement speed, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and hip recoil control. You get a reduction of aiming stability and aiming recoil control. If you don't want to use that, I mean, it's completely up to you if you want to use a mere recoil 56 factory stock. I mean, you will get sprint speed, aiming stability, and recoil control, but I think with all the recoil control attachments we already have, you kind of want to focus on your movement, sprint to fire, and aim down sight speed, considering it's an SMG. And last but not least, use the LM Cronus grip for the flinch resistance, considering you can't really use this one right here. This is just the best option to throw on. If you don't want to use that, then just throw on like a 40 round. I don't really think you should use 50, considering every time you put more and more on there, you're going to have less mobility and less handling. So 40 round is a good option. If you don't want to use that, then just use one of these to have a better irons and have a better sight. And that's the best class for the Lachmann Sub. Now, these last two guns, you can't really change too much, but I'm going to showcase them anyway. That is the Kastov 74U. Now, this isn't something you can actually change, but if you choose to use this weapon, just click on it. You can use the base variant, and it's going to be absolutely crazy. Another thing that you could actually use overall is the Scar. Now, this you unlock at level 30, and it is a variant of the Scar. It's called the Frontal Impact, otherwise known as the TAC 56. Now, the TAC 56 by itself is already insane, but with this variant, you're going to absolutely go crazy with it. Please try it out. Also, if you guys are new to this game, you're probably going to be starting out with the X12, so make sure you're using the X13 auto instead, because this is actually a fully auto versus the semi-auto. And I mean, I believe that this kills faster than the X12, plus you're going to actually be able to kill with less effort than, you know, having a semi-auto and trying your hardest to get the kill. Make sure you guys are running stims, and make sure you're running Semtex, considering the C4 doesn't throw that far. I don't think it's worth it to really use. And if you haven't already, make sure you go to your controller settings, go to advanced, and for aim assist type, set it to Black Ops. Default is good, but Black Ops is even better. Trust me, it's way better. You're going to have a much better time with your gunfights.